That's not Rachel, that's me. I gotta flip this around. Here we go.
Hi, Rach.
Hi, honey.
Oh, I'm so happy to see you.
You did say I could bring a cocktail.
I got one too, Mama. What are you drinking?
I don't know. John made it. John, what is this?
John, what is it?
It's called an aviation. It's a very classic back in the day cocktail. It's a shot of gin, a half a shot each of lemon juice and maraschino liqueur. And then I add a little bit of violet liqueur to make it blue and a cherry.
John, that is very
It is
fancy.
delicious.
I knew
and I see why John likes it. It makes you pucker.
I'm kissing you big time. John is the master cocktail maker. John makes the best Negroni of anyone I've ever in my life had a Negroni.
He is an insanely talented person with the Negroni. With any cocktail, really. He's
I
great.
am cheersing you for my grandmother, Lucille, my Montauk grandmother's martini glass. It's a little baby glass. She called it her lady martini. And I'm cheersing you. And I'm thanking you so much, Rachel.
So are you saying that this is a man martini and that mine is bigger than yours?
Cheers. I love you. And I want to say thank you for saying yes. Wait, and cheers to everybody watching. It's 5 o'clock on a Friday.
Cheers to everybody. It's 5 o'clock.
We made it through one more week. Okay? So let's cheers to that. And everybody.
And cheers to Food Bank and all of the people working on the front lines feeding our fellow neighbors and Americans. Yay.
Amen to that. And that's what, Rachel, thank you for being such a quick yes when I asked you to do this.
Food Bank has been our partner for many, many, many years. As you know, Mayor, since day one of our brand, a portion of our proceeds have always gone to feed people, basically, and to provide secondary education for anybody that goes to a public school and wishes to go into any food-related field, and to improve our school food system. And one of our biggest partners over the years, of course, has been Food Bank. So cheers to Food Bank and cheers to Mary Giuliani for doing this.
Thank you, pal. Thank you. I, like everyone else, feel a little helpless, and I feel like I'm very good at drinking and talking. So if I could put those two skills to use and raise money for people that need it, now's the time. Now's the time.
Absolutely.
And Rach, they're matching everything tonight that we do. So $1 is going to be 10 meals. $75 will be 750 meals, and $150 is 1,500 meals. So in my link, you guys, you could just post. And then you can just see how you could very quickly make a donation to Food Bank, and we're so happy. So
and you've been doing pretty well this week, right, Mayor? Roughly, where are you at right now?
I'm waiting I'm going to get my tally tomorrow. So you're my finale of the week. I saved, don't tell anyone, I saved best for last. I love everybody else.
Mary,
but you're my.
Don't say that.
I'm going to get my tally.
There's no favorites in
at
food.
The end of the week. I know.
Well,
but
I don't know what that amount is, but I will match that match.
I love you, really.
Really, I will match that match.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love supporting Food Bank, and I will match your match.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Let's have one sip to that.
Sip to that.
Don't make me cry, Rachel Ray. You make me cry sometimes with your kindness. Don't make me cry.
Mary, you and I cry all the time, literally at the drop of a hat. By the way, I got very teary. Yesterday, I filmed my first meal since our studios closed, temporarily, of course. And it was the first time I'd been able to talk and cook at the same time, and it felt like being back to work. Burst into tears, of course. I say our because John filmed it, but our first at-home cooking experience for everybody to share in is chicken pot pie. It goes up tomorrow at 4. We were trying to do it today at 4. It'll be on Instagram stories. Bye, everybody. We were trying to do it today by 4, but I might have talked a little too much. It may be a little bit large for the platform. So we're having some technical difficulties because of my mouth. and we will hopefully have that up tomorrow.
Amazing.
And I'm also going to ask John to tape tonight's dinner. We're going to make a Dijon parm panko crusted heck of a halibut for those of us that eat fish, and for my sister, chicken. And some green beans that I've already got going over there, and rice pilaf, I think. But whatever, we're going to put that up on Monday. So if you're home.
That's amazing. So one of my questions is going to be, and we all will be, one of my questions to you is going to be, what's the best thing you've corn cooked so far? So would you say the pot pie?
Well, I think that for anyone who cooks often, first of all, cooking, even if you never cook, this is a time for you to pick it up as a skill. Yep. Because it feeds your soul in so many ways. It appeals to all of your senses, and it gives you a sense of self, a better sense of self. You know, it's like why I try and work with kids as often as I can, because it improves their self-esteem. It gives you a great sense of well-being that you can provide for yourself. But then there's a whole other layer when you're sharing that with people you care about. So even if you hate cooking, you should be in the kitchen now, because you'll learn to love it. Yeah. You really will, as much as you can love music or film. Yep. It's another thing that just, especially in times like these, it really it is a blanket. Absolutely. But I don't have a favorite thing that I cook ever, because I think people that love to cook, and you can speak to this, just want to please the person they're feeding more than anything. Yeah. So anytime that John or my mom, that's my dog, you know, anytime I see that they're super happy with what I'm giving to them, that's the best meal that I made that week, you know, or the best thing that I did that day. I will say, looking back on what I cooked this week, we lost Floyd Cardoz, a member of our food community, and I met him 20 years ago. My mom had a huge crush on Floyd. Oh. So I guess the meal that's most memorable to me is the one that he would have loved. I did. Hi. And I did chicken. Pause for a second. It's okay. I did an all Indian day of a beautiful spiced omelet and some charred roti and raita with chilies and mint. And later we had saag paneer, and we had curry with apples. And I think that that meal was totally influenced by knowing him for 20 years and his balance of acid and spice and his bold flavors and his huge personality. So probably that's the one that makes me most emotional.
Of course, that's beautiful. I mean, I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I was the outpouring of love and the same common ground of everyone saying what a good human he was so beautiful to see. So, and I know you wrote something very beautiful for him as well. So,
I just touched my face. I got to go wash my hands, but
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
It makes me very emotional to think about all of the people that we're losing. You know, my mom is from Gela, Sicily. You know, my mom's from a teeny tiny, literally, you know, a donkey cart type of really tiny community in Sicily, and the 4 youngest of 14 came here. And to think about Italy losing 8,000 plus souls,
it's just,
and that folks can't go and tribute, you know. You're really bringing me down.
No, come on. All right. So we know.
But it's important to remember that that's what food does too. It helps us connect with different generations and people that we've lost, and it's an important thread in our being as humans.
Absolutely.
It makes us more human to connect in any way we can, and food certainly does that. It connects generation to generation. It tells stories. It provides you a blanket when you need one, you know.
And you and I bonded, Rachel. You and I bonded over exactly this. So you've met a million people. I've met a million people. A lot of people ask, a lot of people are asking on the questions, how you and Rachel meet? And are you guys like, people ask me in my real life, are you guys really friends? The answer is yes.
We're really friends.
We're really friends.
Oh, we are friends.
But we
have seen each other an even bigger hot mess than right now.
Oh, yeah. No, I think we're pretty good right now. We're pretty good right now. But going back to what you said, we bonded deeply by the love of our grandfathers. And
we have so much in common, Mary. Like, our stories are so similar.
So similar. But, you know, going back to our Italian grandfathers and growing up with that influence. And, you know, I retrieved out to Montauk here. That's because this is where, and the other day I said to my sister, I said, you know, it's funny that I chose here because I could have stayed in New York, or I could have, and this is the place that I've held hands with all four of my grandparents in this town. And I take walks and I speak to them, and I'm counting on them for some strength right now. And but I think it's really great that we just have this love of that generation.
Well, that's because you and I are 70-something-year-old Italian men.
We are
lady bodies.
If you see Rachel
We're
and I
old
hang
Italian guys in lady bodies.
We are old Italian men. I mean,
I'm really happy you're in a lady body, hon.
We have said that before. When we hang out, sometimes we look at each other and I'm like, we could have been Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. We could have been. We could have been.
Oh, it's another Cheers moment, Mary Giuliani.
It's another Cheers moment. In another life, we'll come back as Dean and Frank. And I also am proud to say, if people want to know if we're really friends, my friend, our friend Mallory Page's artwork is in your kitchen. And I'm looking at that too.
Right over here, over my shoulder. John, show it right there.
That was my Christmas present to Rachel a few years ago.
It's so beautiful. I love it so much. Do you see it in the corner?
I see it. I love it. There. It's the orange piece, and it's so great. And
it's so great there. I love it so much. It is amazing.
All right, now listen. We love you, and I told you we were gonna do this rapid. So you asked what you quarantined. My other question was how much do you miss me? We've answered that. We talked about our grandfathers. You know, eating story is about sharing a story. So, but you did share a wonderful story. Is there anything else you want to say story-wise and food-wise that might make people happy right now? Or should we just talk about, okay, yay.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Or should we take a few questions from all these people that are sending hearts? You can't see what I see, but all these people are sending, like, Instagram Live is like this fun thing that I'm just talking about.
Let's take 3 questions, whatever you want. I don't care.
Let's take 3 questions.
But let me say that the biggest food story is that you need to make food. Everybody has to make food now at home, right?
Yep.
And that is an opportunity every single time you can do that to share yourself, even if you're just getting to know who you are or you're trying to remember things from your childhood. You know, there was a moment today where John was sitting outside. Izzy, my dog, is our dog, sorry, honey, is 15. She has a lot of health issues. But there was a moment today where John was playing his banjo on the back porch, and Izzy was sitting on her bed. We bought her bread outside because it was a sunny, nice day. And she was just breathing the air, and she had a little blanket around her. And it was so beautiful. He was playing just for her, for an audience of one, you know, his dog.
Yep.
And I thought, wow, that's such a found moment. And that's how I feel when I cook. That's the story of that day.
Yeah.
Is I get to tell a story to my family the same way John can play music. The only way I can communicate best, you know, is with a pot or a pan or a knife, a board, and some ingredients. But it is a kind of a spiritual thing to me. I know that sounds goofy, but it's true. And the more you cook, the more you believe that.
Well, people ask, and that's beautiful. And people ask me too, why am I a caterer? And honestly, I love I love to be the best food and beverage version of your story. Like how we can take your story and translate it in creative food and beverage. That's the things. And that's what you do. That's what you do better than anyone, Mary. And that's why you're the success that you are. That it's about other people's
dreams, and that's the beauty of working in food and beverage. You are always putting other people first, and there's a great lesson in that. That humility that you have allows you to be so wildly creative and childlike when you're bringing other people's dreams and their thoughts and their wishes to life with all of their senses interacting together. That's why you're so good at your job, is that you still have that wonderment of a little kid, even though we're old men in Lady
Yeah, we're old men, exactly. And you know, it's funny.
you have that quality of being childlike, you know, and where you can just close your eyes and be super creative and visionary in bringing people's food and beverage dreams to this kooky place, you know, like Pee-wee's Playhouse kind of a thing.
Thank you. That's the best description I've ever heard of our company. Thank you. No, I heard once, John Turturro once said, the great actor John Turturro, who is also—
I love John Turturro. Oh my God, one of my greatest guests ever, by the way. He was so wildly entertaining. Huge shout out to him.
Oh my God, well, you're my greatest guest. So anyway, I heard him say something once. He said he grew up with not a lot of money, and he used to go to the movies, and to him that was traveling without going anywhere. And I revisited the first eating story I did on Monday. I talked about my greatest memories with my grandfather was spent watching him in the kitchen cooking, and we were in one small room and one small living room, and we traveled week after week without going anywhere. And I think right now for everyone, it doesn't matter how big the room is, how small the room is, you can you can travel without going anywhere.
That's exactly it. And food connects you to any place you've never been, to places that you've only imagined, and to generations.
Exactly.
Know, it can take you anywhere, just as any other form of pleasure in art. You know, music and great film. It's those things that bring out our humanity, in my opinion, that really make us whole.
We're getting many requests to see your kitchen. That's the most requested thing. Here it is.
This is way better than my kitchen upstate. I mean, in the city. This, I haven't had that many years. Our apartment in New York, if I put out my arms, I can touch both sides of it. This is larger, of course, but I bought all these beams. I didn't buy them at all, actually. These we picked up just by clearing them from land from fallen barns in Western New York. And the floors are super cheap pine, nothing expensive. This is the most expensive thing in my home, other than John's music studio, my pizza oven.
Oh, I've eaten from that pizza oven, everyone, and it is the magic that comes out of there.
But yeah, here it is. There's the stove. And I designed this room so that I could see everything in the house. I drew this on a piece of paper. This barn I built about 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah, roughly.
And I drew this on a piece of paper. I wanted to look straight through the room so that I wouldn't miss anything, because I'm always in the kitchen. So the fireplace is way in the middle of the room. John needs to stoke the fire, by the way. It's almost out.
Uh-oh.
Wait,
let's go over here and see. Look. Wait, look.
Here's Izzy.
Hi,
looking
Isabel,
freaked out.
I love you.
Now show the fire. See how the fire sits up high? All those stones came from our backyard. Literally our backyard. Wow. That was all done by stonemasons, and a woman blew up the mountain, by the way, to flatten the land. And all this stone.
Cheers to her.
All of that stone comes from our backyard. It was cut in our backyard by local friends and neighbors who helped raise our barn here. But I put this up into the room so that when I'm in the kitchen, I can see the fire and I can see all the way into the living room. So it sits way high, and the wood is stored underneath it, so you can see kind of straight through the house.
Can I tell? Thank you so much. Everyone's freaking out. I'm getting lots of hearts. Beautiful kitchen. Feel like we're in Tuscany. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I have to say, I've been very lucky. Rachael has invited me.
His name is
Pepe.
Wait,
we're back.
Many wonderful occasions there.
This is Pepe, my grandpa's donkey when he was a little boy, right before he came to America. He had a donkey in their pottery yard in Sicily, and his name. And John and I bought him in Italy. I think the first time we ever went there together, right, hon?
Yeah.
We've had Pepe a real long time.
I love
Anyway,
Pepe.
that's my reminder that my grandpa's always in the kitchen with me because I have a little statue of this donkey.
Pepe
My
is-
family name is Scuderi on my mom's side, and a scuderia is a donkey cart that's specific to Sicilian culture. We paint them with the scenes of Sicily's history. So basically us getting maraudered and kind of run over by a lot of different cultures and people.
Yep.
So they're not the cheeriest scenes on the sides of the scuderias, but they look very colorful and cheerful. But our family name is kind of donkey cart. My mom is Providenzia Scuderi is her birth name.
Yep.
So for me, donkeys are kind of a thing. Donkeys and owls, of course, because I was a night owl when I was a little girl. And they call me Little Hoot because I'd stay up all night. And so, I mean, there's a lot of owls in the house and there's a lot of donkeys.
And could you just tell everyone what your, wait, we're buffering. Hold on. Instagram. Okay, we're back. Okay. All right. What was your nickname? What was your first word growing up?
Vino.
Vino.
Vino. My grandpa made his own wine, and he was my babysitter when I was a little girl. And I was a grumpy baby. And as I said, I've never been a good sleeper. So Grandpa got sick of chasing the. He put the formula in across the room. So he would put water and a little of his wine in my baba and hold my baba up and go, Vino, 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 Vino. So there's a picture of me in a hook-on high chair in an old Polaroid, and my hand is straight up in the air, and it says on the back, Rachel's first word, Vino, exclamation point. And it really got me from my baba, but I guess I've been a wino since the get-go.
Oh, no. Well,
we have to cheers to that one, for sure.
We got to cheers to that one, okay? And we're cheersing to you for taking time, you and John, your cameraman, for Jake.
Cheers.
This.
Cheers.
To Food Bank. John, thank you, Rach.